watching NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Well, we have launched the Real Kisan Kalyan campaign with the objective to address real problems faced by the farmers and bring solutions to the table. In the 7th episode of the special telecast, we will discuss crop waste management and the importance of donating food. In fact, here are some facts worth taking note of. Around 74 million tons of food is lost in India every year, which is 22% of the food grain output or 10% of total food grain and horticulture production put together in the country in 22-23. Well, according to data released by the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, the loss accounts for roughly 8% of the total 931 million tons of food which is wasted globally. In this telecast, we will look at a holistic picture. What are the types of waste and wastages that can be in fact negated? What are the innovative practices and techniques and solutions and technologies that can be implemented, and how can we achieve the dream of using 10% crop residual and eliminate the food wastage crisis? Joining us at this point in time to talk more on this is Padma Shri, Mr. Subhash Palekar. He's an Indian agriculturist. So thank you for joining us. I hope you can hear me. Mr. Palekar?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate you taking the time and speaking with us. Well, I've just mentioned the number of what kind of wastage India has to deal with when it comes to crops. In your opinion, aren't these some of the real solutions? Aren't these some of the real problems that the government as well as the farmers should be focused on?
I have to start?
Yes, sir. That's for you.
Thank you for this beautiful subject you have chosen for this discussion. I think that there are two utilization of the residues of the crop. Number one, you have to utilize all the residues of the crop as a straw mulching on the surface of the soil in the crop, so that humus will be created, and that humus is the footstalk of the root zone of every plant, which supply all nutrients which are essential for growth and development of the plant body. That means humus is the fertility and productivity of the soil. When you utilize all the residues of the crop as a straw mulching and give Jivamrutam as a best culture of the microorganism, which microorganism create the humus, and for maintaining carbon-nitrogen ratio 10:1 in the humus, if you take the intercrop of the pulses, then automatically humus is created, and that humus is supplying all nutrients to the plant body, and none of the manure and fertilizer is to be utilized as externally. We have done it. That means we have to only one option to utilize all residues of the crops for the creation of the humus as a straw mulching, not to be burned. When you burn the biomass, that means you are emitting huge quantity of the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane, which are responsible for global warming and climate change. If you are utilizing all residues of the crop for composting, for decomposing as a compost manure, vermicompost manure, or cow dung manure, again you are become responsible for emitting huge quantity of the greenhouse gases, because when you spread out these all manures which are prepared by the straw mulching, the straw of the residues of the crop, then carbonic matter is decomposed by Nitrosomonas bacteria and Nitrococcus bacteria, and nitrites are created. Again, those nitrites are decomposed, and nitrates are created by the nitrogen bacteria and penicillin funguses.
Right, sir.
And afterward, when these nitrates are decomposed by denitrogen bacteria, which are micrococcus, and free nitrogen is emitted.
Understood,
that free nitrogen is emitted in the atmosphere. It is combined with the oxygen in the atmosphere, and nitrous oxide is emitted in huge quantity, and that nitrous is a greenhouse gas which is responsible for global warming and climate change.
Understood, sir.
Even during
Understood,
the
sir.
unhealthy condition,
Yeah,
decomposing of the manure.
let me also rope in Mr. Arun Bhagat, who is a
Yeah,
senior
yeah.
researcher.
So,
So,
would
just one
not to
second,
be,
sir. Let me also
not
rope in
to
Mr.
be
Arun
like,
Bhagat, who's a senior researcher, Climate Resilient Agriculture, Watershed Organization Trust. Also joining us is Dr. Sanjay Arora, who's a scientist, deals with soil science. Mr. Subhash Thakur, Commercial Unit Business Head of IPL Biologicals, and Vidyut Mohan, CEO of Takachar, is also joining us on the program. Mr. Bhagat, I'll begin with you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes.
Well, in many countries, food waste has been studied, but there is no authentic study of the same in India as well. And food loss also relates to food supply chain. It relates to government warehouses and all the way up to retail. But that is something which has not been given too much focus and impetus in our country. Do you think that if that is something which is basically categorized into a department and looked into, the the humongous amounts that I mentioned in my opening monologue will be far lesser?
Yes, yes, sir. Crop waste management is the simply handling of the crop residue or byproducts of the different crops to improve the soil health, reduce environmental pollutions and greenhouse gas emissions. This is the basic agenda behind the crop waste management, and it is not a waste; it is the byproducts. It has unique value. It is like gold in agriculture, and it has unique value. And when we talk about the sustainability, then the waste management is a very much important, and crop residue management is a very prime most, because it is acting as a green fuel for the sustainable agriculture. Everybody knows that the crop residues has its unique values, and its importance for the supply of micro or macronutrients, and it's improve the soil physical and biological property of that soils. And this is the main importance behind the crop waste management. And India presently almost more than 500 million tons of the crop waste is wasted every generated every years, and more than 60 to 70% it is not properly utilized in India, and it is responsible for the environmental pollution, greenhouse gas emissions. And when we manage it properly, then it will be helpful for the reduce the land degradation problems in India, which is already one third portion of India's land is degraded, and it is helpful for the reduce the chemical fertilizer use in India that larger extent. Means not a fully eradication of the chemical fertilizers, but we can reduce almost at 70% level also, and sustainably enhance the crop productions. And it is also helpful for the SDG commitments from Indian sides to the emissions of these greenhouse gas emission reductions by avoiding the burning of crop residue. Also, government presently focusing on the natural and organic farmings, and crop residue management is the only one solution, because the organic residue generation is the from agriculture crop residue only, and this is contribute to the 80% of the residue generations. This is the value of the crop residue management in India's context in this climate change. Yes, sir.
Dr. Sanjay Arora is also with us on the program. Dr. Arora, I hope you can hear me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Well, according to the CSO, the last time a census was conducted, the value of the loss was somewhere close to 2,84,000 crores. And this comes to about 11% of the level of production. Now, this is a mammoth amount, but even when you look closely, there are certain, types of losses that can be avoided. But the only thing that has been preventing them from actually being not losses and gains is the fact that there is no clear-cut strategy or an idea to help with this wastage. What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you, and good evening to everyone. Actually, losses means you are talking about the food grain losses and the products which we
Correct.
get from the agriculture system.
Absolutely.
Basically, the lack of infrastructure and the marketing facilities are affecting this grade. But it will take time. In due course, I think the infrastructure as well as the organizations involved in this procurement will take care of these things so that it can be managed properly. But on the other hand, the other thing which we are talking about, Dr. Palekar already told about the residue management. Actually, residue basically is the treasure of the soil. It should be returned back to the soil whenever the human is cultivating the land. And after cultivating, he is getting the food grain. The remaining part needs to be returned to the soil itself as per the means as per our ways and as per our traditional knowledge. But avoiding burning is the present day means demand. And for that, Dr. Palekar and my other colleagues have discussed it because it will improve the soil health, not only the soil health, but as well as the environment issues also. Apart from that, the recycling of the nutrient will be saving a lot of money in terms of nutrient for the farmers. In hilly areas where mulching is preferred to conserve, especially in the rain-fed areas, to conserve the moisture in the soil, it will be very beneficial, as well as returning back to the soil the nutrients. Say 5.5 kg nitrogen in rice bead system is retained in the residue, 10 ton of residue. So huge quantities of nutrient can be recycled, not only nitrogen but other especially all the nutrients which the residues have taken from the soil itself, and now it needs to be recycled to the soil back. In situ as well as ex situ management can be done. There are many techniques, many approaches need. Maybe some are feasible in some parts of the country and the other areas. Especially in rice feed system, I can tell you that microbial decomposition is one option apart from the Dr. Palekar's method of mulching and other approaches. If the farmers have the feasibility of taking up the microbial formulations, like Hello CRD is one of the formulations which we are, this is the decomposer microbes. They can help in situ residue management, and other decomposers are also available. That will add to the decomposition process. Otherwise, reducing the CN ratio of the residues in situ, there are several approaches that needs to be taken care of. And the main thing in many areas, not only it will improve the soil health, but also physical properties, where especially in the salt affected soil or in the areas where there is topography is undulating, there is runoff generation. It can be reduced when you are incorporating or adding as a mulch. That will help in not only retaining soil moisture, soil health, as well as nutrients to wash out from your field. So ultimately, you have to think about not only the benefit cost ratio, but also the benefit risk ratio. You are creating the risk when you are burning or when you are removing the stubbles as well as materials out of your field, and the benefit is very large. So you have to compare it in that sense. And I think if it is followed properly and with judicious knowledge and awareness, surely we will be able to meet as Arunji has told, that we will be able to achieve the sustainable development goals.
Absolutely. Great points there, sir. Subhash Thakur, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Mr. Subhash Thakur, great points have been given here, but there are losses in agriculture and horticulture subsectors in India as well. Do you think setting up of cold chains and storage facilities is also going to help the matter? Farm level operations, educating the farmer on how to bring this down is also going to be extremely important. The same problem was presented in the UK as well in the early 2000s, and they were able to come over it. Now, their wastage is in fact, the least in the entire world.
Yeah, definitely. See, from the agriculture point of view, first of all, I'd like to thank you, NewsX, for giving me this opportunity to express my views. See, this food waste is a global challenge at this point of time. And now this is not only impacting impacting the environment, but also it's contributing, towards hunger and maybe economic crisis as well. See, my colleagues, most of them have already shared their views on residue management and most of the things. But yes, from this food waste point of view, as you rightly raised the concern, the most important thing that can be given a thought to it is proper storage techniques. Although Indian farmers or maybe are very much they have a different art of preservation put all together. But yes, with increase in production that we have at this point of time in India, it's important to understand that right market for those produced is going to be very important. And here comes the importance of sustainability. With the increase in understanding of sustainable agriculture, the consumers are ready to pay for that. So by helping our farmers to increase their understanding about sustainability practices, this can definitely help them out. Horticulture is again a very important part of agriculture where food, other than food grains, fruits and vegetables can be stored. So that definitely that storage facility has to be developed. So there are some of the challenges towards agriculture, sustainable agriculture practice. Still, there is again a lack of awareness among the farmers. So they should be, if they should be, they can be guided with a right cropping pattern to in agriculture that can definitely help them to decide which crop to grow so that the wastages can be minimized. Then again, some of the lack of the access to the financials to implement these sustainable practices is again important. Market demand is there at consumer front, but yes, farmer should get approach towards selling their produce to the right consumers. Then that if that guidance can be given to the farmers, that will definitely help to reduce their wastages. So again, the sustainable agriculture is very much important from another point of view that it helps to combat climate change as well. So again, because as we are from agri-input industry, agriculture is again anyhow contributing about 20 to 25% towards the global greenhouse gas emission. So now working around the sustainable agriculture will definitely help to reduce this global greenhouse emission and help to develop this segment of agriculture for the farmers. So again, there are some of the practices which can be done. So from my point of view, for suggesting a farmer, again, incorporation. So again, this is in addition to that of crop residue management, wherein a very beautiful technique of decomposing their crop residue into that same field is will definitely help farmers to increase their fertility of their soil. So this can be done. Again, herein it comes the role of natural microorganisms, biological microorganisms that helps to decompose the crop residues very quickly without impacting much, without disturbing the entire soil of the field. Then mulching is again a very good practice that has been suggested by my colleagues as well. Then right harvesting technique. So again, harvesting is very much important, but again, to manage the crops or residue with a good harvesting practice becomes very important. So in overall, this entire crops residue management, by using the sustainable ways of agriculture, by diversifying their cropping management practices, can definitely help farmer to manage their crop yield as well.
Okay, let me just rope in quickly Mr. Palekar once again. Mr. Palekar, a lot of water has flown under the bridge ever since those 3 farm laws were also repealed. How do you look at the current situation as it stands today, with the farmers up against the government once again, but the real issues that NewsX has taken up from time to time continue to be a big pocket cruncher? Sir, you're muted. Sir, if you can unmute yourself. Mr. Palekar?
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
Under my technology, Subhash Palekar, you will see that our naturally grown fruits, vegetables, and another crop produces are not spoiled. They are keeping as it is for long period because we are not utilizing any chemical fertilizer and any other chemicals. But chemically grown fruits are spoiled within 3 days because of the chemicals which are existed in those fruits and residues, produces. Until in organic farming also, we are giving the poison to the people because organically grown food also are having cadmium, arsenic, mercury, lead, poison heavy metals and radioactive elements. So it is better to stop the organic farming and chemical farming if you want to give available best facilities of the storing and also the technological transfer to the farmer. Definitely we can secure the storage capacity of the food produces, definitely. And we have done it. We have done it. We are selling straight to consumer. We are not selling in the agriculture produce marketing committee. No, we are selling straight to consumer. So there is no middleman, and there is no spoilage at all. There is no storage.
Okay, all right. Mr. Bhagat, any pointers that you feel that will, relay a message to the farmers who perhaps have to, work on a lot of pending background anomalies in the farming sector, and not to politicize anything, but right now the situation is such that instead of the benefits, what they're looking at is the glass half empty. Could that be changed because of the kind of progressive discussions that we are having as Indians and as people who understand what agriculture needs?
Yes, sir. Presently, everybody knows we have to reduce the chemical fertilizer in agriculture. These are very harmful to health, human and animal health also. But basically, crop residue management is the most important. This is the main crux to shifting from the chemical fertilizers to the organic fertilizers and chemical agriculture to organic agricultures. But there are some challenges because in India, huge residue available, but the decomposition of that residue, this is important for the actually management sustainable agriculture or organic farming or natural farming. So here in decomposition processes, decomposition is the main issue behind the agriculture to shifting from the chemical to chemical to organic agricultures. So here first issue is the after just assume that if kharif crop is harvested and farmers going to the sown to the rabi crops, and there is a period of 15 to 30 days, and farmers has to manage their crop residues, and then farmers get only 30 days, and within that 30 days farmers can do three things only. If they incorporate residue into the soils, secondly it is decomposed at that place, and thirdly it is decomposed collect and decompose it at the other places. But at three levels there are different challenges. If you are going to incorporate at that place, then there is a tools availability, implement availability on time, because this is the rush time for the agriculture activities. This is the one of the problem. Second, decomposition. Decomposition of any products with available technology within a 30 days, 100% decomposition is not possible, and partial
All right, sir.
decomposition
All right.
is there.
Understood,
This
sir.
decomposition is the problematic for the next intercultural observation in Rabi seasons. So this is the one of the issues. If there is a partial decomposition there, then pest and disease issue.
Understood. Mr. Bhagat, you're absolutely right. Obviously,
And
all of these
secondly, the
factors
last point
have to
is
be
a
weighed in.
collection
All of
of
these factors have to be weighed in by the farmers as well. We're going to continue doing our job. We're going to continue to, in fact, educate and illuminate, some of these areas in the farming sector that can be improved upon, and not rely and, in fact, depend too much on the politics of the day at hand. Would like to thank all my guests for taking out the time and speaking with NewsX. We take a short break. Be right back.